briefly, I'm going to make a little video going over some of the problems that we just reviewed in class on day 8 or 9, or some of the ones that you may not have gotten to. These, again, are going to be due when you come to meet in my office next week. Don't forget that you're coming to Marcus Hall in my office next week. Email me if you have any questions about anything in particular. I will want you to turn in all of these answers to all of the questions. So if you're having problems on some of the ones I don't go through, what I need you to do is to make sure that you include in the email what you have so far, in particular using variables A, P, R, N, T, I, PV, or payment, PMT, or FV. So like if you think A is 1,000, put that in your email to me. That'll help a lot. But I'm going to go through several problems, or at least part of 2, 3, 4, 8. Actually, all I'm going to say about 8 is skip number 8. If you did it, great. Don't do it if you haven't. 16, 17, and 20. So we'll talk about some aspects of those, and I will point out there's no number 19. So on number 2, and I'll also say, for this entire video, please read the question before you watch this. So I'm not going to reread the question much. I'm just going to point out some things about these problems. So read it before you do it. So now would be a good time to pause and read number 2. So number 2, I just want to point out here, if you look at a timeline of what's going on with Mary, she buys it over here at the beginning and sells over here at the end. This is a simple interest problem, so it's going to involve one of the formulas 1 through 3, but the selling amount was 2,000. So you know A. All right, what you're actually looking for is this amount over here, which is P. On number 3, all I want to say about this is the way I want you to interpret this problem. I is 30, P is 1,000. Go from there. Number 4, I will do in detail. Let's erase all of this. Number 4 is a great problem. All right, let's look at what's going on. Again, make sure you've read the problem all through it and tried it before looking at the video. You really have 3 steps to this problem. John, Mar, I'm just going to call her Mar, sorry about the clarity, and Jenny are involved. Here, first step, John sells the car to Mar. Now, it's important to understand what's going on in this transaction. John has a car, Mar buys the car from him, but she doesn't pay anything until the end of the time period. All right. Mar gives John gives John a piece of paper with her name written on it, an agreement to pay John back at the end of the 180 days. Some people would call this an IOU. It's a contract. It's binding. Mar will owe the money at the end of the time period. Now, for part A, this is a 180-day time period. We know that P is 15,000, R is 0.09, T is 180 over 360. So A, this is formula number 2 in your things. Working this out, we should get 15,675. Do check this. One more time. That represents how much money Mar owes at the end of the 180 days. She's going to owe this. No ifs, ands, or buts. Mar owes this. Jenny comes along. Actually, what really goes on here, after 60 days, John needs cash. He has no cash. He sold his car. He has no cash. Jenny comes along. Jenny gives him the $15,200. What does Jenny get? Jenny gets Mar's promise to pay that $15,675. Okay. This may sound strange, but this is a very common sort of transaction. It's very frequently involved with mortgages, car loans, student loans, that the loans themselves, the right to who's going to receive the money later, gets sold. Right? We may talk more about this in class, or you can ask me about it, but this happens all the time. So, 4B is about Jenny. If we look at Jenny's point of view in this problem, well, her A is, well, her end of the time period. This is the beginning for Jenny. This is the end for Jenny. That's it. Jenny starts here, she buys the loan, her ending time period is there. Well, her A, the amount at the end, is that $15,675 that Mar will owe her at the end of the time period. The P, this is from Jenny's perspective. When Jenny starts this problem, where she sits, she paid $15,200 to receive that $15,675. That's where she is in this problem, and that's it. Her P is $15,200. R is what we're looking for. N is irrelevant because this isn't a compound interest problem. T here for Jenny. Start at day 60 and at day 180. That's 120 days, I think. There's 360 in this year, you're told. Plugging this into formula number 3 or 4, I would use, 2 or 3, I would use formula number 2. Solving that for R, you should get that R equals 0.09375. Okay. Question C. I'm not going to ask you this question on the test. And this is some would argue this is a value question. But here's the deal. What did John need after day 60? He needed cash. Did he get cash from Jenny? Yes. And he in fact earned $200 in interest over that first time period. We didn't run the numbers for John, and in fact I don't have them written down for me, but he's going to earn less than 9% with this. He got the cash when he needed. He did earn some interest. John got a good deal in my view. So did Jenny, and so did Mar. This was a win-win-win. Everyone involved got something they wanted out of the transaction. A little more subtly, it's not actually clear in this problem whether that was a good interest rate. Jenny agreed to it, so I'm going to say she got a good deal, but maybe when John sold the car, 9% was a non-common interest rate, and 12 was by the time Jenny got it. It's not clear that John didn't actually make out pretty well on this. So we're going to say yes, John got a good deal for part C. Alright, the other problems I want to do, I told you skip number 8. On number 16, I have a comment, and I'll write this down, but mainly it's about this comment. Again, read 16 before you watch the rest of this. Okay, now you've done that. This problem involves a series of regular equal periodic payments of $5,000. The payments go on for 40 years, but they're being paid to Byron. If you read that problem carefully, you should see Byron's part in this enterprise starts here. The context for the problem, I'll find it somewhere where Byron's in a car accident, blah, blah, blah. Is. He's right at the beginning. The payments will be later. He's right here. He wants to know how much you would have to put in the bank at the beginning. The question asks you for the PV. Alright, to keep these videos short, I'm going to have numbers 17 and 20 on the next video. So I'll have 2 separate ones. I'll be right back.